What's up, ladies? Hello. Let's talk about food quality today. Sometimes this is a really missed concept, or it's a concept that I think women maybe don't have a full grasp of it. So I want to talk about it today. I'm going to just pin this to our group like I do every time. Make sure you are in our Facebook group. It's called Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women. Beautiful. And I think that is pinned. All right, ladies. So let's talk about food quality. It's so much more than just hitting macros, right? If two women are equal in all other things, but one woman eats low quality food, hits her macros every day, and one woman eats high quality foods, hits her macros every day, the woman eating high quality food will get better results 10 out of 10 times, right? Again, I'll say it's not just filling your macros. It's about really creating healthy habits that take care of your body and get you super fit. Okay, so I'm going to reference my notes like I always do. So why do we want high food quality? I'll just share a few examples. These may be really obvious to some of you, and they may be a totally new concept to others because there's like, if it fits your macros, it's like, yeah, but I could fill my macros with McDonald's. Is that really teaching me how to live a healthy, fit lifestyle? Not at all, right? So macros are pointless then in that case, right? We don't want to use macros like a diet, ladies. We want to use them as a tool, yes, to get guaranteed results, but also to really craft a healthy, fit lifestyle, right? Okay, so high quality food. Why do we want that? Fiber, fiber, not from bars, not from like high fiber tortillas or foods that like artificial fiber or whatever it is pumped in there. We would be so much better off if we're getting fiber from like fruits and vegetables, oats, avocados, salsa, right? Whole foods, whole foods, whole foods. I can't say that enough. I'm like, let's chant it. It's so much better. So when you eat enough fiber, which for women, for most women, about 25 grams is really optimal. If you go too far over, you can get really constipated. We've had clients actually thrive at 40 grams of fiber. Other women eat 40 grams of fiber. They cannot poop for like a week. Okay. So typically 25 grams is a really optimal spot. If you're eating like less than 20 grams of fiber per day from naturally occurring sources, your food quality is probably really low, right? So look on MyFitnessPal, check your fiber levels and see, ooh, how much have I eaten today and how much should I eat every day in the past 5 days, right? If your fiber is less than 20 grams, you're not getting the results you want. I'll tell you right now, food quality is one of your issues. So really focus on that. Having enough fiber helps with digestion naturally, right? But it also really helps to keep you full, which is vital in a deficit. Why? Because it helps you stay compliant, right? So you're not super hungry, but you're actually full, even though you're eating lower calories than what your body wants to maintain. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Why else do we want high food quality? Of course, being healthy habits, right? But more specifically, why do we want high food quality? Ladies, vitamins and minerals, right? In fruits and vegetables, there's so many naturally occurring vitamins and minerals, which can help with mental health, which helps with energy, which helps with digestion, which helps with clarity in your mind and your brain, right? Those things are so necessary, and we should really be getting as many vitamins and minerals as possible from our foods and not just from taking vitamins, right? It's like, let's take care of our body in all aspects as much as possible. That's also why we don't eat the same things every single day. One, because it's not sustainable. It's not teaching you any tools. It's kind of like a diet, right? But two, you're not getting any variety of vitamins and minerals. And that is so important. Again, even just for energy, if we put one thing on it, let's say for energy, right? So make sure you're not eating the same thing every day as well. Okay, beautiful. What are high quality foods? What are a few examples? Lean protein, healthy fats, right? Nuts, nut butter, avocado, salmon, right? Fatty fish, fruits. Oh my gosh, but there's sugar in them. Yes, love, and that's okay. Don't eat 100 grams of sugar per day. I'm not saying that at all. But for our clients, we recommend 300 grams of fruit per day. That's like a banana's about 130 grams. Okay, so it's like 2 bananas and some blueberries, right? You don't have to fear sugar. It's just don't eat a bunch of candy all day. But taking away fruit because there's sugar in it, means you're missing out on a lot of naturally occurring vitamins and minerals and a lot of natural energy that you can get from that. There's also great fiber in fruit, right? For vegetables, we recommend 500 grams per day for each woman. Let's say you're only getting 100. Don't feel like you have to go from 100 to 500. Maybe going from 100 to 300 is an amazing jump for you, right? But having that much produce in your food diary or in your food logs each day, oh my gosh, you'll feel so good. You'll start feeling tighter. You'll start having more energy. You'll have just like more zest for life. Like you'll feel so good. Whereas if you fill your macros with low quality food, you'll feel lethargic and exhausted and moody and frustrated. It's like, oh, I need to change my macros. It's like, no, love, you might just need to change your food quality. 10 out of 10 clients, I would say, maybe 9.9 out of 10 clients, food quality has been an issue always, because it's like they think they're eating really healthy, but then we actually like look at all the details and it's like, oh, sweet. There's so much we can improve. You've built a great foundation, but there's so much we can improve. And it doesn't really have to be anything crazy. It's just minor tweaks that really can make all the difference. Grains and space for play foods, right? It's not an all or nothing approach, because an all or nothing approach will leave you with nothing. We definitely go by the 80-20 rule. It's a very common rule. Not amount of food, but calories. Calories, right? A Snickers bar is 250 calories. Yeah, it's like one tiny bar. So it's not 20% of like all the food. It's 20% of calories, right? So still go live your life. Still enjoy foods. Go out to eat. Do your thing. But what are your food choices at the restaurant? And then what are your food choices the rest of the day? If you want to go to an Italian restaurant and have pasta and wine for dinner, okay, let's be strategic about what type of pasta, possibly, right? Let's be strategic about how many glasses of wine, right? Definitely. And very importantly, let's be strategic about what are you eating the rest of the day. Hopefully it's filled with lean protein, tons of vegetables, a good amount of fruit, so you have more of that play space or those play calories left for dinner, so you can enjoy the lifestyle side of living, go on a date, right? Enjoy your food and not have to eat salad every single time. But your strategy for how you're eating the rest of the day and how you're choosing those choices at the restaurant is still taking care of your body health-wise, and it's helping you get great results because you've pre-planned it, which means you're still hitting your macros even though you get to go play. If you're not adding any play foods in ever, I would call that a restrictive diet, right? Because is that sustainable for the rest of your life? And does that bring you joy and happiness? Probably not. If it does, okay, great. But most women, it doesn't, right? We shouldn't be restricting ourselves. Yes, there's going to be moderation in portion sizes. Yes, there's going to be times where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to eat that double scoop ice cream because I literally had waffles for breakfast. You know what I mean? So it's just being smart about picking and choosing and how you're filling your plate, really focusing on high quality foods for 80% of your calories, or for the majority, right? I'll remind you again, like 300 grams of fruit, 500 grams of veg is an amazing target to hit. If you're nowhere near that, which most of you aren't, that's okay. Start nice and small, okay? Slow and steady wins the race. In the Army, we said slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And it's a fact. I tell it to my son all the time because he's almost 5 and a wild one. All right, so what are some low quality foods? Just for example, for our minds to comprehend. Fast food, candy, what else did I say? Processed foods. If your food log is like protein bar, protein shake, beef jerky, other processed food, boxed food, more than likely your fiber is super low because your food quality is not super high. Does a protein shake have its place? For sure. I have probably one lean body shake every day or most days, right? It's great. It's grab and go. It works amazingly because it's already ready to go and made, right? But that's like the only thing in my food log. The rest of the food is like salads and vegetables, bananas, dates, figs, grapes. Like, oh, I eat a lot of dolmas. If you guys know what a dolma is, it's so good. There's some veg on there, but it's also a super tasty treat. At New Seasons, you can get like ready-made tofu, right? Just like grab and go tofu that you can take the container and sit there and snack on it, right? You don't have to choose just protein bars all the time. And typically that doesn't make women's stomachs feel great. And it's like, let's learn how to hit our macros with whole foods, not just bars. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not sustainable. You know what I mean? It kind of goes back to the diet mindset. And gosh, let's get out of that forever. We never have to diet again. That market, I don't think was created for us. I think it was created for them to make money. So let's just kindly exit ourselves and just learn how to live a healthy, fit lifestyle so you can be free. So you can be free in your body and have the energy and feel good in your skin. That will never, ever, 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 ever come with a diet. I'll say again, in a deficit, are there trade-offs? For sure, right? You're eating less than your body wants to maintain, but it's only for a time. If you're doing it the right way, you don't have to be in a deficit for 10 years, right? It's just one time. Let's get in the deficit. Let's get the fat off, bring you to maintenance, and let's stay in maintenance for the rest of your life instead of consistently chasing the deficit. It's very possible, but it takes the lifestyle strategy around it, ladies, not just the macros. You must have the lifestyle strategy around it. If you don't know what pre-planning your macros is, please comment pre-planning. We'll send you a free video. It walks through exactly how to pre-plan your macros, and it makes life way easier to hit your macros and be sure that you're putting high quality food in your food log. Okay, last thing I want to share. I say this a lot, so I want to break it down a little bit more today. So food quality is vital for great results, for healthy living, and for really quality body recomp, okay? Vital, and for daily energy. Balancing and spacing your foods is also just as vital. So what this means is like, instead of having a 750 calorie dinner, a 300 calorie lunch, a 250 calorie breakfast, and like a 250 calorie snack, just as an example. Let's take like probably 2 to 250 calories off your dinner. We can put a little bit in breakfast. We can put maybe a little bit in snack or create another snack instead of having this massive meal at dinner. That can be called calorie banking, right? Calorie banking. Now, I have a video on that as well. So if you want that video, just comment calorie banking. I'll send you that as well. I am so guilty of this because I get on my computer to start working and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 hours and I've like barely taken a sip of water. So I have to work on it too. I'm right there with you. Okay. Calorie banking is basically when you're eating very little throughout the day. And then it's like, oh shoot, my stress is down. I'm hungry now. And I have like all my calories left. Not ideal for health, nor for body composition, right? When you're in maintenance, sure, it's not that detrimental, but it's not a healthy habit. So let's just fix it by eating throughout the day. It keeps your metabolism running. It keeps you having all the energy mentally, physically, even emotionally, right? Depending how you're expending it, okay? It gives you more energy for the gym. Make sure, ladies, you're eating carbs before and after your workout. Protein too, but carbs, because carbs are your primary fuel source for daily living and for when you train, right? So if you're not eating hardly any carbs, you're probably not going to have very much energy in the gym. We also need energy to recover, right? So we really want to make sure we have a solid amount of carbs before and after our workout. I was talking to one woman, not a client, but just on Facebook, and she said, I struggle to get in all my macros. I said, okay, you need a pre-plan. And then she said, but I'm so busy after my workout. Sometimes I'm just running errands all the time. I don't have time to go do that. I'm like, then put something in your car. Like there's always a solution, right? I have a huge box of car snacks, partly for my son, but for me too. There's shakes in there. There's fig bars. Are those processed? Okay, sure. We're not perfect, right? But it's minimizing that. There's bananas. There's apples. There is some beef jerky in there, but it's like, have the snacks. Just set yourself up for success. It doesn't have to be hard. But if you don't even put it there, you'll never win, right? I was active duty military for 4 years and I was training for a bikini competition while I was living in Korea, and it was insane tempo, like 14-hour days we were working. I was also getting my master's degree. It was insane. Okay. So what I did, because I had no time, and I'm not necessarily suggesting you do this, but I'm sharing this to share that there's always a solution. There's always a solution. I didn't have children at that time, so it was easier. Every Sunday, I would cook for the week and I would put my meal in a Ziploc bag because in the military, like the conditions are very different than here, right? So I'd put my food in my bag, and some of my food, I had a little fridge in my office, but then like 2 bags I would have in my pocket. And so as I'm like walking somewhere, I'm like scarfing my food down and I can throw my baggie away so there's no trash. So if someone says, "Oh, I just can't eat vegetables or I can't do this," it's like, if I can do that prepping for war in South Korea and do a bikini competition, I'm like, sweet, you can do it even though you own your business or go to work and have a family. It's so possible. Strategy, love, is what it takes. It's the strategy and it's the mindset to say, I can do this. What I'm doing right now might not be working, but that doesn't mean something's wrong with me or you. That doesn't mean something's wrong with your body or your situation. It just means you may need to slightly fine tune your strategy. We had a client, I think last week, she said she wasn't getting enough protein. I'm like, girl, you need to increase your produce, right? And she's like, I can't. I'm always on the go. I said, all right, ladies, we have a group chat, right, for all our clients. I said, all right, ladies, share all of your go-to grab and go produce options. There was tons starting to be listed. Snap peas, sliced cucumbers, sliced zucchini, carrots, grapes, apples, bananas. Like there are things you can quickly grab and go. It's just doing a little bit of work in the beginning to allow them to be ready to grab and go. And ladies, when you implement these strategies, it gets faster and easier and faster and easier and faster and easier. The slowest and hardest time is right now. It's right now. As long as you're putting in the diligent effort, it will get easier and more enjoyable and even more easier and even more easier. But the only way out is through. You don't want to diet forever. Let's just nip it in the bud. Let's get it done, right? It can totally be done. Oh yeah, here, let me do some of these questions. I love it. Oatmeal is a great carb. Yep, it is. There's different forms of oatmeal, right? Some is more processed, some is not. But oatmeal has a good amount of fiber. Some oatmeal is a complex carb, right? Which means like usually it's like a 5-to-1 or a 4-to-1 carb to fiber ratio, right? So if there's like 20 grams of carb and 4 grams of fiber, nice, complex carb, right? That being said, what if it was a simple carb, right? So less fiber. Does that make it bad? Not at all. But be strategic when you're eating it. A simple carb is amazing post-workout. Your body needs the carb. It's ready to use it. So it's going to use it as energy and to build muscle and for strength in the gym, not for storing it as fat, right? You could eat it before your lift as well because it's instant energy for your lift. Yeah, that's awesome. At Queens of Iron, we don't label food good or bad, right? We more focus on like, is that serving you? Like, why is that there, right? So we want to keep the mindset so healthy around food. And so I'd be careful how you're labeling foods because it's not that it's good or bad. It's just, why am I eating it? Is there something better? Or is this totally fine because it's a lifestyle and not perfection or restriction, right? All right, Michelle, what's up, love? I'm usually in a 30 to 40 calorie deficit. What do you mean by that? Is that okay? Is this okay? What do you mean? 30 to 40 calories, like total in one day? I could see why that would be extremely slow. I feel like that would take like a month to lose like 1 pound. Is that what you mean? Or tell me more. Tell me more. If I get off this live, yeah, okay, good. You're on. Tell me more. Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, let me just wait for you to answer that. Ladies, also, anyone else on here, if you have questions, just drop them below. If for some reason I don't pull up your comment, it may be because you're commenting somewhere that it's not streaming, or that it's not streaming the comments. So hopefully I can get you. Okay, so here's another go. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. I hear this. Yeah, I know, yeah. So how do I meal prep staying on budget? Or do you prep for the whole family? I will share my thoughts, but as a disclaimer, I have one son and I don't have a significant other. And so being two of us, some things are easier. But we do have trainers definitely in Queens Run with families of 4, right? And so I'll share my thought process. But I just wanted to give you a disclaimer, like I don't have a family of 4. Okay, so keep that in mind. The biggest thing here, because a lot of times your family might not want to eat the same thing as you, is have the meat or the main part of the meal be the same, right? So for example, like a rotisserie chicken, pull the skin off because can you eat it? Sure. Is it a great way to use your fats for the day? No, honestly, it's just not, right? It's not doing you any favors, except it tastes so good for 10 seconds, right? What's the trade-off? Let's just ditch it. So that'd be my thing. You can get a rotisserie chicken at Costco for $5. At least in Washington State, you can. $5. And it's a huge rotisserie chicken. So that can last you, depending on how much your family eats, maybe 2 nights, right? So really easy, budget-friendly way there. Meat-wise, another thing is like whitefish. I think it's cod is pretty inexpensive. So you could definitely do that. Gosh, I think rotisserie chicken is just amazing. I do Costco, so go to Costco. You can get like big ground turkey, bison, things like that, and then I would cook it up in a pan. Like I usually cook about 2 days per week when I'm prepping. I do eat out a lot. That's why I talk so much about being social, because I understand those of you who eat out a lot. So yeah, that's what I'd say for the meat, is have that be the same. And then you can have your side dishes be different. Let's say like your kids really want mac and cheese. Maybe your husband does too, but you don't really want that, right? So maybe you could do a mac and cheese and a quinoa. It's like, oh, it's more cooking. It's like, yeah, but then you can also have that quinoa for lunch the next day, right? So you're using it in other parts of your week, not just having to cook a bunch of stuff for, not just cooking 4 meals, right, for the families. That makes sense what I'm saying? The other thing too is like vegetables, for example. This is something I actually do with my son because he's very young and I like really spicy food, is I'll preheat or I'll cook our meal. I'll put his portion on his plate and then I'll spice mine up. And then we do condiments separately, right? So condiments add a lot of calories. You can do separate. Condiments also make foods taste really good for, especially for young people and men. And so I would say you can have like the bulk of your meal be really healthy. Let's say, just for a random example, oh, you could do stuffed bell pepper, right? I think that's pretty budget friendly, I would say, depending on your budget, because some people's budget is like 15K a month. Some people like total, some people's budget is like 5K a month, right? So I'm not exactly sure what your budget is, but I think honestly doing that, getting like quinoa, rice, barley is so good. But if you just go to Costco or Sam's Club and get the bigger things, like bigger portions, and then change the condiments and possibly change the sides, like adding the mac and cheese or adding cheese on something after you've taken your portion, can help so much because it doesn't take that much time for you. You guys are still eating the same thing, but they get to have the extra calories and whatever that they want, and you don't have to have that for yours. One thing, so my son does eat the exact same thing I do, but that was a very intentional training since he was just a few months old, like I think 4 months old. I started giving him the most random foods, like so many different types of foods, because I really didn't want a picky kid. I wanted him and me to eat the exact same things because I was really trying to avoid that. And so we do eat the same things. Sometimes he'll say he doesn't like something and I'm like, oh, sweetie, adventure bites. You just need to keep trying it. It's so good. I love it. It's so good for my brain. I know that my energy, my mind feels so much better when I eat this. I'm talking to a child. So a lot of it's how the way you perceive it and the way you share that with them. And if they've grown up with some unhealthy habits, I think it's a lot about just explaining to them the why, just like you ladies like, right? We need to know the why behind things to make us really like them. If they don't like the vegetables you're cooking, it might not be that they don't like vegetables. It might be that they don't like the cooking method. I don't know if my kid would eat steamed vegetables. I don't want to eat steamed vegetables. I don't think they taste good, right? But he does almost always eat sauteed veg with some pan spray and some yummy seasoning, because you can throw barbecue seasoning on there and it's delicious. And maybe he wants something else added, which actually at this point he doesn't, but he's not a teenager yet, you know. But you can change the flavor of things without having to cook a totally different meal. I hope that helps. I know it's kind of a long answer. I really hope that helps. Okay, so Michelle, let me go back to you, love. So you said you're at 1752 calories and you've eaten 1700. Is that too close to my baseline? To be in a calorie deficit, how deficit does it need to be? Okay. I think what you're saying is your maintenance is 1750. What's your height and weight? Can you tell me that? That's a pretty low maintenance. And so that tells me, if that's your maintenance, that tells me either you're super petite or you've been dieting for a good portion of your life. And we need to just reverse you to bring that maintenance up a lot higher. If your maintenance is at 1750 and you're eating at 1700, you're basically eating in maintenance. So no, I wouldn't say that's enough of a deficit. You're so funny. Ladies, I need to jump off. I'm taking my son to Disneyland for his 5th birthday in like 5 days, and they're calling me right now. So I need to jump off. Michelle, send me a message. We'll talk more. Okay, ladies, have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon.